We mentioned Sammy, who's had a bit of controversy come up from an old tape that resurfaced from a podcast where he said something offensive regarding a female wrestler in the WWE, and that's on the lower scale of what's been going on in independent wrestling, to be honest. And I spoke a bit to Big E about it a few weeks ago. And you have been on the independent circuit for quite some time. You've seen each of these wrestlers come through at PWG, one of the most storied independent wrestling federations of all time. Was it shocking to you to see just how many cases, how many women were stepping up to talk about these things?
It was, to me, absolutely shocking and heartbreaking because PWG, part of the deal is we have the best wrestling, but then also the best locker room. A big part of it is chemistry. And if there are guys that are absolutely amazing wrestlers, but are just assholes in their day-to-day life, those guys don't get booked on PWG. And so to know that these guys were good locker room guys, but maybe not the best human being, that was very difficult to kind of come to grips with. And, for my role in PWG, I just go to the show, I do the commentary, and then I head home. I'm not really hanging out socially with a lot of guys. And so I didn't necessarily have that window into it. And so I just kind of knew people from my interactions with them, and who's going to tell you like, oh, I'm a serial killer, or whatever.
I'm a total garbage can. Yeah.
Yeah. And so having all of that one by one just be revealed to me was really distressing. And obviously I'm not the victim here. And there are people that were so brave in coming forward and enduring the slings and arrows of the Twitter and wrestling community and all of that. I can't even imagine that. But just for me personally, I mean, there's, people I've known for almost 20 years that, of course, like, oh yeah, he sleeps around or whatever, but I never thought, I never thought the worst beyond that.
Yeah, and it's true. You at PWG had like a similar schedule to a fan. You would drive up early, you'd help out with stuff, and then announce. Then you drive home to San Diego pretty much right after the show. So I guess knowing the personal lives of these guys was impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there were people that had wrestled for us in the past, and people that I thought I knew very well, and so there was a lot of reflection on my part of what did I know, when did I know it, was there something that I was seeing but being willfully ignorant of, and I think a lot of people that are in the wrestling business went through very similar things, and the more we talked about it, the more we all kind of just realized like, yeah, these guys were hiding something.
Yeah.
And, so it's like, it's really frustrating for me because these people have no place in our business. I know things have been cleaned up in wrestling from where they were, even 10 years ago, but definitely over 20 years ago and 30 years ago. And, this feels like a setback, but hopefully we can use this as a way to weed these people out and keep the positive people in wrestling.